welcome back to my channel. I'm Camilla and today I'm introducing you to my nonfiction November TBR. I decided to participate in this month-long readathon because I do really enjoy nonfiction. You know, I read it throughout the year, so it's not something that I'm just gonna do for this month. It's a genre that I enjoy because I like to be challenged and to learn and to open my eyes to different perspectives when I read, and then nonfiction is a great way to do that. Subgenres that I really enjoy in terms of nonfiction include anything feminism. I really enjoy also anything like kind of travel and nature focused, especially like I guess nature writing in Scotland is really nice because that's where I live and that's kind of the nature that I'm experiencing. So it's nice to see this perspective and to open my eyes to the beautiful things that are right here, you know, in my own landscape. I also like anything about running and I don't know, like just pastimes that I enjoy. I'll also have loads of books about like writing and stuff like that. So quite a wide array of things. Also, I forgot to say that I think this was started by Olive at a book Olive. I will link her announcement video for this, you know, readathon in the description below, so you can go and see her talk about the themes for this year and also, you know, why nonfiction is so great. And I'm quite excited for this. Let's dive into the TBR right away. So there were 4 themes that were kind of drawn for everyone to kind of, I guess, interpret in the way that they wanted and I guess help them build a TBR. So the first one was collection. And for that, I decided to go with an essay collection. So this is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I've had this book on my, actually on my bedside table for years. And I've only read 2 of the essays, which is a little bit of a shame. But I guess I said that I really like everything like feminism, and it's true, and I think I have a compulsion to buy them all. But I do struggle sometimes with reading them. I feel like sometimes it's difficult, like essay collections, to read, like, you know, from beginning to end without stopping, because I guess there's not as much as like it doesn't propel you to keep going, like, you know, fiction or like things that are a bit more like narrative throughout. But I really do enjoy them. It takes me a bit longer to read them. Sometimes I'll just drag my feet through them, especially if they're about hard themes. Like if they have about inequality or like rape and stuff like that, like it takes me a bit longer. But I've been wanting to get to this one for so long, so I think this month is going to be a really good one for me to kind of tackle it. So it's really interesting, like obviously it's separated into sections. The first one is me. I'm guessing it's going to be about Roxane Gay. There's gender and sexuality, race and entertainment, politics, gender and race, and then back to me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I really enjoyed the few that I've read already, so I just want to keep going. Even if I read like a couple a week, I think it'll be achievable throughout the month. So let's see. So the second theme was industry, and I really wasn't sure where to go with that, and I decided to go with, I guess, the industry that I'm currently in, which is travel, and tackle some of the books I've been meaning to tackle over the summer. So you'll recognize this first one from my July TBR. So it's The Shadow City, A Woman Walks Kabul by Taran and Khan. This, I think, is even more relevant now after everything that's happened in Afghanistan. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard great things about it. She starts like the foreword. It starts here. One of the first things I was told when I arrived in Kabul was never to walk. It was early 2006, 5 years after the overthrow of the Taliban government by US-led coalition forces, around the same amount of time that the Taliban had been in power before 2001. Winter was just beginning to fade, and like the seasons, Kabul was on the verge of turning, though we did not know it then. As spring transformed the surroundings, I joined the rush of bodies in the street and took my first walk in the city. I think this is a relevant, timely, it's gonna be, I don't know, like what I'm hoping and what I'm thinking it's gonna be is a personal account of a woman walking, obviously in a foreign country, of the political situation at the time, but I feel it's still resounding to like now. So I'm really looking forward to it. I really want to get to it this year. So I think November, again, like Bad Feminist, I think is a good month to tackle this one. The second one is kind of less really about travel, but it's All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes by Maya Angelou. This is part of her, I think it's a 7-part biography that she wrote. And this is, oops, I've started reading it, as you can tell. I've read the first chapter. So this is, I think it's the year that she lived in Ghana. Yes, here. In the 5th volume of her brilliant autobiography, Maya Angelou emigrates to Ghana only to discover that you can't go home again. Initially, she experiences the joy of being Black in a Black country, certain that Africa must be her promised land. But Ghana leads its own paradoxical life. She finds official sexism, but loving female friendships, Black solidarity, but distrust of Black Americans. Through the circumstances of her new life, an affair with a seductive Malian, her son's near-tragic accident, politics, partying, her myth of Mother Africa is dismantled. Encountering the country on its own terms, she comes to a new awareness of herself, of slavery and Black betrayal, of civil rights and mothering. The first chapter already touches on loads of these, and that was really, really interesting. So I'm looking forward to diving into this. I've never read any Angelou, and this is the first one, and it's maybe a weird one to start with, but I've really wanted to read more female of colors, like experience of traveling, and I think this is an interesting one, especially immigrating to Ghana. So yeah, I'm hoping to get to this. The third theme, that's too many TH in a row, I'm sorry, my Frenchness is struggling. The third theme was style, and I really wasn't sure again what to go with that. I really didn't want to read about like fashion or anything like that, so I decided to go with, I found this book on like my online app, and I thought it was a really stylish cover, and it really struck me, so I thought maybe I'd go with it. And it's a subject that I think I really could take something from that. So it's called How to Do Nothing, Resisting the Attention Economy by Jenny Oddell. And I am someone who struggles with attention because of anxiety. So I'm always like doing something, and even my doing nothing is doing something like meditating and yoga and reading. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of things that she mentions, and maybe finding a mindful way to be in the present. That's kind of what I'm hoping out of this book, but we shall see. When you judge a book by its cover, what it does. So yes, this is the first one. But then I also kind of looked through my nonfiction shelf, and I did find Magpie Mind, Live an Inspired Life by Laura Fyfe. And this is about writing. So I thought it goes with style, writing style. So this is a book I got because Laura is actually a writer based in Stirling, where I am. And she's the Stirling in my car. So she's kind of heading all of the writing stuff in the city and region. So she's great. I've been attending her workshops for a year now, and it's really inspiring. So I got her book. This is one of 2 books that she's had about writing. Very short, like full of wee tips and like exercises that you can do. And I started over the summer when I was on holiday, and I wanted to do some writing exercises, but I've really not been writing for the last 6 months or so. So I decided to maybe, if I want to get a little bit of writing done, read this, work on like my style and my writing, and I think that would be a nice one to get to. The last theme was treatment, and with that I decided to go with feminism and obviously the treatment of women. So I have quite a lot of books because, as I mentioned. The first one is The 5 and the Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper. And this was on my TBR for September, and I did not touch it at all. I've read the first 100 pages last year during lockdown, and it is so well written. And I actually really enjoyed the interview with Hallie Rubenhold that she did at the Edinburgh Festival last year. I think she was writing about powerful or dangerous men. Anyway, she would like this essay about that. But yes, this sounds so interesting because it is not focusing on Jack the Ripper, which is great. It's focusing on his 5 victims that we know the names of, and she's basically retracing it's a historical research book basically, and she's retracing their lives and how they came to be prostitutes, or whatever people used to say, oh, he's just killing off prostitutes, and how they ended up in this situation, who they were, where they came from, where they were born. And it's really nice to see these women kind of be given names. Like, I just feel like that's not something that historically speaking we've focused on. So I thought this was a great kind of historical one / feminist. So this was a good one. I started it, so again, like all the other books, it would be great to be able to finish it during this nonfiction November. The second book I really want to get to in this kind of treatment theme is The Transgender Issue by Shon Faye. And this is a book that I've mentioned before because I got the ARC back in August and the book came out in September. And I started it but I didn't finish it because September and October have been really busy. Reading wise, but also everything else wise. So I would really like to finish it. I think nonfiction November is a good time for that. So yeah, this is one of my hopes, but I also would like to read Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. I got this book again a couple months ago. And I'm just trying to read different perspectives, you know. I don't want to be one of those sort of white passing feminists. So yeah, so I think it's really important to read different perspectives, different from mine, that's what I mean. And yeah, I heard really, I think, is this an essay collection? I feel like this is an essay collection as well, so maybe it also fits in the collection theme. So yeah, this is one of my kind of wish list one. We're getting to the wish list now because there's loads of books. This is, the revolutionary writings of Audre Lorde gave voice to those outside the circle of the society's definition of acceptable women. Uncompromising, angry, and yet full of hope, this collection of her essential prose, essays, speeches, letters, and interviews explore race, sexuality, poetry, friendship, the erotic, and the need for female solidarity. This includes her landmark piece, The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. I can't wait to dive into this. All right, let's continue to more feminist wish list stuff. So another one that I have on my list is Who Cooked Adam Smith's Dinner? A Story About Women and Economics by Katrine Marçal. So my husband actually kind of does behavioral economics, and obviously I'm very interested in feminism. And when we saw that book, I think we were together and we were both like, let's buy it, and both of us could read it because it's at the intersection of like our kind of fields of interests. And yeah, I'm really, really keen to read it. So yeah, for 200 years, economics have argued that the world turns because of self-interest, and this logic has spread from the market to how we shop, work, and date. But what if our unpaid labor, particularly the work of caring, cleaning, and cooking, traditionally performed by women, was valued by economics? What would our society look like? From Adam Smith's dinner table to the recent financial crisis, Katrine Marçal tackles the myth of self-interest and shows us how our economics is failing us and how much better things could be. So I don't know when this book is from because it's a recent financial. Let's see. This is from 2012. Yeah, so it's almost 10 years old. Oh gosh. Are we near a financial crisis? Anyway. Yeah, so apparently this was translated from the Swedish by Saskia Vogel. So did not know that till I just opened it now. But yeah, I thought this would be really interesting. I'm very interested in the economics of feminism and economics. But I'm not very good at economics. And that's actually the one class in high school that I was really poor at. So yeah, so hopefully I will understand this, but I'm married to a behavioral economist, so I'm sure I'll be fine. And yeah, we'll see. But this is one of my, I've had this for years and years, like, yeah. Oh, apparently I read one chapter. May have to go back because I don't remember anything. But yeah, an interesting pick. Another one is, oh yeah, it has a 50p. I bought it in a charity shop. Is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Renni Eddo-Lodge. I've never read this, very surprisingly. And I think it's like one of these must reads. And I think it's really important, especially as kind of, again, like the white passing thing, to read this perspective. So I bought it in the charity shop, again, many years ago. I never got to it. Yeah, sometimes I guess nonfiction can feel a little bit intimidating, and I guess that's one of the reasons many people stay away from it. But I really want to read this one. I've heard really good things. Obviously, I think I've only heard good things about it, except from racist. I'll try to dive into it if I have time, but it's one of these books I really, really want to get to at some point. There's always at some point, isn't it? Anyway, I'm sure it'll be good. Finally, we're getting toward the end. Well, the end of this theme, anyway, treatment, is Invisible Women, Exposing Data Bias in a World Designed for Men by Criado-Perez. And again, I bought this one ages ago. I feel like I started it and it's very data heavy, and I'm not a very data driven person. It's quite a large book, so I feel like it's why I never actually started. Actually, only 300 pages. I don't know why I thought it was, for some reason it feels large, but it's only 300 pages. Anyway, it's mostly the way it's printed. So yeah, so it basically, this is like the other one was about economics. This one obviously is about data. Imagine a world where your phone is too big for your hand. Your doctor prescribes a drug that is wrong for your body. In a car accident, you are 47% more likely to be seriously injured. If any of these sounds familiar, chances are that you're a woman. From government policy and medical research to technology, workplaces, and the media, Invisible Women reveals how, in a world largely built for and by men, we are systematically ignoring half the population, often with disastrous consequences. Criado-Perez brings together for the first time an impressive range of case studies, stories, and new research from across the world that illustrate the hidden ways in which women are forgotten and the profound impact this has on all of us. So yeah, so this is the data version of it, which is great because I feel like sometimes I talk about feminism and I don't have statistics, so maybe they'll just help me back, you know, when I'm talking about this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's one of these things that I really think this is going to take me years to read, because I think it's going to be heavy on like the science and the statistics and the data, even more than other nonfiction books. But I'm sure it'll be so interesting and so fascinating, and also really frustrating, like, you know, all of the things we mentioned at the on the back cover. So yeah, another kind of one feminist book that I own that I need to get to at some point. Okay, finally, I have two more books. So still in the nonfiction theme, I didn't really think they fit any categories, but I think it was in September. Was it in September? Yeah, in September, I started The Bilingual Brain and What It Tells Us About the Science of Language by Albert Costa. I did start to read this. I read 22 pages. Look at me. To be fair, this is only a 135 pages long book. It's very short, but it's very sciencey and it's very heavy. So I think every time I sat, I literally read like 5 pages and that's all I could manage. So it is a very kind of slow read. But it's so interesting. The first chapter that I read is about basically babies and the way that they learn. Obviously, it's very linguistic based, so it's about the way that babies learn to speak and to also interpret language and reproduce it, and also the difference with bilingual babies, or babies exposed to more than one or potentially 2 languages. And it's fascinating because obviously my family spoke French and Spanish. So yeah, fascinating already. And I love it. And obviously if we ever have a baby, I feel like this is going to be a reality as well in terms of French and English for us, potentially Spanish as a 3rd language. Oh, so many. So yeah, so I'm learning a lot, but slow read. I thought I'd add it to this list because maybe, like all of the other books I mentioned, this would be a good time to tackle it. But we shall see. The other thing is that I've just received this in the mail. This is at the end, Surviving the World Through Imagined Disasters by Katie Go. 404 Inc. is a local publisher based in Edinburgh, and they did I want to say crowdfunder, Kickstarter. So one of these kind of fundraising campaigns online, and I decided to participate, and with kind of the money I put, you could get 4 of their books that they are printing this year, and they're like short, they call Inklings, and they're just short, like 100-page books about kind of interesting and timely subjects. So the first one I read was about queer love and Schitt's Creek. Then the second one that I've received is basically, I think it's film and yeah, like apocalypse and disasters and stuff like that. And that, as someone with anxiety, is something I really enjoyed watching. So I thought I'd have that. It's really short. So I think the first one I read in like one sitting. So I'm guessing at some point, if I'm waiting for an appointment or just killing some time, then I could read this one as well this month. All right, that was it. And that was a lot. Actually, I think that was more than 12, because I think 12 is my physical pile, and I added 2 books that were ebooks. So 14 books, it's a lot. I really don't think I'm going to get through all of these. I think I'm going to prioritize definitely Bad Feminist and Shadow City, and we shall see about the other ones. But I'm hoping to read at least 4. I think that would be like 1 a week would be really great. I'm also doing a buddy read with Jay from My Quarter Life Crisis in November. So we'll be reading, I think it's 4 or 5 books, I think. So I'll be also prioritizing those books. The video TBR for that is going to come out next week, I believe. Yeah, I think next week. Yeah. And also I will be reading a couple of books for my reading in translation or reading, you know, around the world. So November is actually Germany. So that was the theme, and I have two. Actually, I'll show them to you now. So the first one is actually, which is really weird. I did not expect this. I was really doing a lot of research, and I was like, I didn't want us to read something about the war. I'm sorry. So I really did a lot of research, and I came upon this, The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. It's apparently translated from the German, but first published in Germany in 2013. So yeah, I don't know if she's translated it herself. It doesn't actually say. Oh yes, here it says translation by Simon Pare in 2015 when it was first published in Great Britain. So yeah, so this will be kind of like a cozy, well, I'm hoping. I actually have no idea what this is about. Another book that I'm like, Bookshop, yay! So I just picked it up without actually looking. You see, Jordan, said Purdue, taking a different tack. A book is both medic and medicine at once. It makes a diagnosis as well as offering therapy, putting the right novels to the appropriate ailments. That's how I sell books. All right, I'm very intrigued by this. I had no idea when I picked it up. This was from the library, and I think I have to return it on the 3rd of November, so I will be trying to read this in the first 2 days of the month. And yeah, we'll see. With cozy read, usually a lot of the books that I've picked for this translation have been quite heavy. Like, I've been trying to take things that are quite representative of like that country, or, you know, like politically or historically. And, you know, this time I'm somehow reading a book set in France, so lovely. I'll also be reading, I'll say this is a French translation. This is an Austrian writer, Stefan Zweig, but it is also translated from the German. Basically, it's novellas about chess. I think in German it's, let's see if I can say it, Schachnovelle. I'm guessing that means novel about chess. It's very short. It's like 100 pages. Yeah, it's just 100 pages. I've read quite a few of these. Like, my parents have given me quite a lot of his, I guess, novellas, and I really do enjoy his writing style. So yeah, I thought that would be a good time. I've been meaning to read it all year, but I thought this would be a good time to read it for the German translation. Yeah, I mean, that's probably enough books, right? Yeah, I have quite a busy November. Actually, not that busy. I think socially, like, I think we're going to be at home quite a lot. So I'm hoping it'll be less busy than September and October, so I can read more. But we shall see. I'm still in the midst of PhD applications. But yeah, it was nice to just kind of go through my bookshelf and see what I could tackle for nonfiction November, and like what German books I could read and stuff like that. I would love to know what you thought. Maybe you've read some of these books. I would love to know what you thought. You know, as always, I always kind of put a call out to see which do you think I should start with, which have you read, which one are you intrigued by. Just let me know in the comments. Say hi, and hey, see you back.